Time to summon the abominations.
Necronomicon is coming.
So in this video, I'm not going to go about how to exactly work through the URILIA text, but I thought I would make a video on the different spirits that are contained within the URILIA text, because there's a lot more lore that the spirits are tied to than what is actually in the Simon Necronomicon itself, which I was able to, of course, here's my pitch, which I was able to, of course, dig up and put into Lama Judingir. Actually, my latest printed manuscript is what I'm going to be reading off of, and I might miss a few points that are actually in the one that is on my computer and not in print at the moment. But so here we go. Just a little bit of warning. You are not supposed to summon these spirits until you have done the gate walking all the way up to the Adar gate, or the Ninip gate, depending on what you want to call it. You have to have passed through Saturn, and that signifies a unification between you and your Watcher, which allows you mastery over all of the aspects that are outside of you. So the URILIA text really has to do with all the things that are going on inside of you. So it's opposites. I've actually been working a lot with opposites lately, and I'll probably make another video on something that I cooked up earlier today when I was on a break at work. My brain's always on this stuff. Anyway, so we're going to be talking about the abominations, which can be summoned by the priest, blah, 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 blah. So the first one, and I'm not going to show the sigils and whatnot, but if you have a copy of the Simon Necronomicon, then you guys can, walk through this with me. So the first one is Humwala, and he's known as Humwala the Terrible. Always happens. Now, he's described in other texts as having the face of a lion and has a scaly body. This is my additions, so it's different than what is in the Necronomicon, because I figured you guys can read that, so I'm going to give my tidbits. So he's described as having the face of a lion and a scaly body. He's capable of breathing fire. He was known, I believe it was in the Epic of Gilgamesh, where he was the guardian of the cedar forest, and where the Dingir were. So he's effectively the guardian of Aden, which eventually becomes known as Eden in the biblical Christian lore. See, they stole stuff? Anyway, he answers only to Enlil, so he is of the earth. He answers to the Lord of the earth, which would, by all allegorical accounts, if you look into the Sumerian tablets, Zechariah Sitchin, stuff like that, he answers to Enlil. Enlil is his boss. He's able to divine the future, and let me go on about that. So, in the Necronomicon's description, he's described as being very foul-smelling, and he has entrails and but just guts coming out of him, and he smells like dung and all that. That is not supposed to technically scare you. The idea that he has entrails coming out of him speaks back to the fact that Sumerians used to use the organs such as the liver from sheep or other animals. I believe it's sheep. I'm probably wrong on this one. But anyway, animals, Sumerians, Mesopotamians would divine things from the entrails of animals. Given the fact that he has entrails hanging from his face and from the front of him, that signifies that he is able to foretell the future. Let's see. It also mentions that he's possessor of the 7 virtues that make up a person. I technically didn't list those. I might want to change that. He brings storms. Now, these storms are really emotional storms, by the way. I also have it noted that Humwala can help you with gaining astral projection and other out-of-body type of experiences. And basically, if you have a plan of action that you wish to take, you can ask Humwala to help you see where that plays out. Now, I know that there's another, there's one of the names of the Marduk that speaks to the same thing, so those two are probably tied together. There's a lot of parallels in Mesopotamian theology where deities seem to kind of share certain attributes and that's because they are kind of visages of the same thing. Many videos ago, I talked about the aspect of Brahman being the ultimate spiritual force, and then it kind of disseminates into all these different visages, and that's how I kind of explained the 50 names of Marduk, because they're all Marduk, but you call on a certain aspect of him through the different names, and Humawa seems to kind of go by the same case, and I believe that all the other ones kind of do the same thing. So, yeah. The next one would be Pazuzu. Now, Pazuzu is known as like the devil. He's the evil, the most evil of the evil. And actually, Mesopotamians used to wear pendants signifying Pazuzu, because they figured if I'm wearing a symbol of the scariest thing around, nothing else is going to want to touch me. So I might be risking it a little bit, but nothing else is going to screw with me, given the fact that they are going to be afraid that I have the energy of Pazuzu with me. So think about that for a minute, you know? And it's almost like the Hulk. Yeah, the Hulk is bad, the Hulk can smash stuff, but nobody's going to screw with him, right? So he's the ultimate expression of evil. He can kind of bring out your dark side, kind of get you to see what really, you know, what your negative tendencies are, for example. He's also very helpful in healing in that way, in emotional healing. He demonstrates the power of karma, where karma really isn't just you do something bad and something bad happens to you. It's accepting everything that you do at every moment, whether it turns out bad or turns out good. Karma is really just the act of doing and accepting what you are doing at the present moment. That's really the boiled down true dissemination of karma. I think that we watched something on that like 1 or 2 days ago. He also signifies death and transformation, so he can be seen as the devil card in a tarot deck. Then if you keep going, we have Tiamat, which Tiamat really speaks to Kundalini energy, that rising energy from the base of your spine all the way up. It really is the true identity of the Watcher. It's the ultimate creational aspect, where if you raise your Kundalini, you are self-actualized, and Tiamat really speaks to that. Personifies the ability to change reality in accordance with your will. Really talks about manifestation. If you want to bring something into being, and you have enough desire to do it, or you have enough energy in the physical realm to do it, you can ask Tiamat to help you on the energetic realm to bring it into being. So moving on, the Akkaru, which actually can be translated as vampire. It's a spirit of envy and jealousy. So everybody thinks vampires suck blood. Well, that's taking the life force out of somebody. That's wanting something that somebody else has that you don't. That's effectively what vampires do. I can't produce my own blood, so I got to eat it. And if you have difficulty with always kind of, you know, coveting your neighbor's junk or wishing you had something else, and it drives you nuts that other people have things that you don't, and it's really bothering you. I'm not saying summon the spirit to get whatever you want. I'm saying work with Akkaru, because it will help you to kind of balance those things out, to be more comfortable with what you have and with yourself at the moment. The next one I believe is the Lalasu, which is a specter, and Lalartu, which is a phantom. Those are kind of both the same thing, in a way where they are just kind of disincarnated spirits. And like a specter is more of a menacing spirit, so I would attribute that to like nagging thoughts or like really negative thoughts. And phantoms are kind of like those fleeting moments of, oh shit, you know, like something's bothering me. Though each of these speaks to a specific emotion. If you find that you have a specific emotion happening more often than others, then you would know which one to work with. By the way, the Lalasu and Lalartu are known to be driven back by the Minu of Enki, which is the chant, the Ea, Ea, Ea chant that you're supposed to do around the temple 60 times while sprinkling water. Those banish those two different things. So in the event that you feel those nagging thoughts and those persistent things that keep you up at night, and the things that go bump in the night, and the things that don't let you sleep, the Minu of Enki helps with that. So, I mean, honestly, I wouldn't really see a point in summoning them unless you wanted to send them against somebody else to go screw with them. But I'm not into, vindictiveness here. So remember, you are going to set up some bad energy for you if you do that. Anyway, moving on. So then we have Galal and Lilith, which have to do with the male sexual drive and the female sexual drive of dominance. How do men like to dominate? How do women like to dominate? Men like to dominate physically. Women like to dominate emotionally. If you feel that your emotions are dominating you, then I would work with Lilith. If you feel that you are pushing way too hard on the world around you to try to get what you want and it's just not going anywhere, then Galal would be somebody to work with. All right, moving on. I think we're actually pretty close to the end of it here, but anyway. So, Zastur is a night terror, which speaks to nightmares, things that what do they call it? That sleep paralysis or the hypnagogia, I think it is. My friend actually suffers from this. Those times when you would the old tales of a succubus or an incubus. Those are attributed to the night terror. Now, I know this happens a lot with people that have asthma, where you wake up, you're unable to move, but you're conscious to everything going on around you, and you feel that choking feeling. You can't move. There's a major force on your chest, things like that. I'm trying to remember what the term of it is. Somebody let me know down there. Anyhow, so if you have things that keep you up at night, even people that suffer from insomnia or middle of the night insomnia, or even what I spoke about before, that sleep paralysis, those night terrors, working with Zastur helps with that. Now, just as a little allegorical thing here, Zastur was the sigil that was above the Mad Arab's table that he saw before he ended up passing away in a fashion that we don't know. Now, one thing I do know is, or at least from my experience, as you get older, you tend to sleep less. And perhaps due to his ability to tap into the spiritual world, which he did break several rules, which I was able to fix in the book, the more vulnerable you are, the more tired you are, the more exhausted you are, the more vulnerable you are emotionally, physically, energetically to spirits. So no wonder he saw Zastur. Maybe Zastur was trying to go after him. Now remember, all of these spirits are actually helpful in a way, but the URILIA text is structured and spoken about in a way to scare you away from using it until you are absolutely ready. So let me remind people, do not work with these energies until you have performed the gate walking and you have merged with your watcher. And you have made the Lost Bowl, the Bowl of Tiamat, the Door of Indor. And I will probably make another video about that. I already made the little title screen for it probably a month ago, but I never got around to it because I was working on the book. And let me see. Any other ones in here? La, la, da, da, da. Technically speaking, I think not. So, anyhow, those are the spirits that are in the URILIA text, and I hope that my explanations were sound for this. Now, I probably should have spoken about this at the beginning, but I always flow with this stuff. So, when you are working, if you have passed the gate walking, and you are opening the URILIA text, and you want to work with those spirits, now, the ritual format in the URILIA text, which is disseminated and explained in Lamadou Dingir, is not technically used for the spirits that are in the URILIA text. The format and the rituals that are used for the spirits in the URILIA text are contained in the Book of Calling. You are to summon the spirits in the URILIA text through the same format that is explained in the Book of Calling, with the invocation of the four gates, the invocation of the four gates from the world between the spheres, and all those other incantations I can't name off the top of my head right now, and I'm not gonna bore you guys by flipping through the book and trying to find it. But you follow the with the mandal of calling, whichever type you prefer. Which, by the way, I have an updated one in here. Sweet. And so that is the ritual format that you would use to summon the URILIA text spirits. And by the way, URILIA literally translates to Fire of the Goddess, which means it is the URILIA text in itself is in honor of Easter, of Inanna. and of the planet Venus. Now, Venus is about love, so you're talking emotions. No wonder that all of those spirits speak to emotions. Our wants, our drives, our fears, are the things that we hate, the things that we love, the things that we want. All of those things. Those are the spirits in the URILIA text. Now, these spirits are energetic. They're energetic waves, I guess you could say. They're energetic presences that take place in ourselves and are emanated around us, and if given enough power, they can culminate into their own thought form, tulpa, something like that. And there's plenty of them that people have not dealt with that are running around everywhere screwing with people. And so be careful of the way that you work with your own energies. If you have things that are constantly bothering you, you better deal with them before they get too strong and before they come out of you and they start messing around with things in your house or messing around with things in your life. And that is partially what the URILIA text is meant to help with, but you are only supposed to do that when you are energetically, physically, mentally, and spiritually able to handle dealing with those energies. Some people are naturally gifted for it, but traditionally I would say go through the gate walking first, and I would not advise just opening the book all the way up to the back and trying to hack your way through a URILIA ritual, a URILIA calling ritual. The ritual in the URILIA text actually speaks to the gate of Arzir, which I will probably make a video of soon. I think that I'm going to have a little bit extra time given this Christmas vacation. Thank God I'm a teacher, and be able to pump out some more videos. I'm really surprised I was able to make this one tonight, but I hope you guys like it. So anyway, thanks for all of my all the comments that I got on my video yesterday, and I hope that you enjoy this one. So good hunting.